we're not affiliated, we're not religious, we're not a religious organization. That's one way. Habitat for Humanity builds new housing. It puts people that don't have housing into housing. We keep people in their housing. So what a lot of people don't think about is in the United States, it took a long time and a lot of politics and whatever. But over the years, we actually made it possible for people with relatively low incomes to afford to purchase housing. That doesn't mean they can maintain it. So you would not believe what goes on in the outer boroughs of this city. Like the homes that we walk into that are falling apart. People own their homes and they make $7,000 a year. I'm not joking. Like that, one of our recent homeowners, like I asked my staff, because they do all the tracking and data, I'm like, what's their annual income? They're like $7,000 for a family of 4. Like it's crazy. And like, you can own something, but that doesn't mean like over time, it doesn't take upkeep. So they can't keep it up, and so there's a mortgage crisis, people are losing their homes. So we help people stay in their homes, we help preserve the affordable housing stock that already exists. And we do that in a number of ways. So on the back of your sheet, you can see like our different program areas. I mean, the one being, the critical home repairs. So we go in, our mission is safe and healthy housing. So we do a whole assessment of the home and find the most critical needs. Obviously the building envelope is very important. Like if the roof is leaking, what's the point of doing anything inside if you don't fix that first? So we look at the most critical needs to like keep this house standing and keep it healthy for the homeowners. Another thing that's good to know is housing is the #1 determinant of health. So if where you live is making you sick, so if you go home to a place that's like full of mold and asbestos or trip hazards or whatever, like you'd be amazed at the number of people that get seriously injured by falling in their home. That's a big problem for our entire society. So we look at, sort of what's going to keep the home standing and what's going to keep its inhabitants healthy. So that's our critical home repairs. And like I mentioned before, since Hurricane Sandy, primarily we've been serving Sandy damaged communities, which means complete demoing of the homes and basically rebuilding. Because in the coastal regions, it wasn't even like ocean water, it was sewage, disgusting, that like came up into basements, into first floors, and in some neighborhoods, second floors. And then when it receded, the mold came, like none of that stuff is salvageable. And a lot of the homeowners are in denial about that, and they want to keep their stuff, and it's like, no. So we've been heavily focused on Hurricane Sandy rebuilding, and we're working for that mainly in like I said, the coastal region. So Staten Island, Red Hook, around the loop, Coney Island, then into Queens, like Rockaway, and even in parts of Brooklyn that you wouldn't think, like Canarsie, Sheepshead Bay, Garrison Beach, which is in Brooklyn. People don't even know that. It's a neighborhood in Brooklyn called Garrison Beach. It's very interesting. You should go there sometime. You gotta take like 3 trains and 2 buses, but once you get there, it'll be fun. Yeah, that's Far Rockaway, Queens. Breezy Point is another neighborhood, and then Long Island, was heavily impacted. We don't operate outside the 5 boroughs. We have another affiliate, Rebuilding Together Long Island, which actually I should mention, we're the local affiliate of a national nonprofit. So we've been here for 16 years, since 1999. The national organization has been operating for 26 years around the country. We have about 180 affiliates in various cities and even very rural areas and lots of crazy places. So we do the critical home repairs, we do disaster recovery, we have an accessibility modification program, so we call it Access to Home. So for disabled people, we provide wheelchair ramps, chair lifts,
widening doorways, you know, anything that somebody that's disabled, it's amazing, like we've met people that literally, they couldn't get their child out of their home, they hadn't left the home for like 8 years. And we were able to come in because of our funding and our donors, and we have this crazy picture where like there was one home where we literally, because it was, somebody lived on the bottom, it was 2 apartments, we literally cut a hole in the window above the door and put an elevator ramp down outside. And this exists in New York City. It's the funniest looking thing in the world. But this kid got to leave his home for the first time, and in a really long time. The stories are crazy and what you see. So disability, there's a lot of people living with disabilities that just having access to your bathroom and your kitchen and being able to move around your house, like what that does to your life. So the accessibility modifications is huge. We have a Light It Up program where we provide for neighborhood security and safety. We install solar powered motion detecting security lights on the exterior of homes for free for any homeowner. Oh, the other thing I should mention is outside of the Light It Up program, all of our homeowners are at 80% or below AMI, which stands for Area Medium Income, and it's adjusted for family size. I should have brought the stats with me, and I can send them to you, and they're on our website. But it's very low. Like I don't want to like misquote, but it's like, you know, like a family of 4 is making $20,000 a year or something like that. You know, like everybody that we serve is very low income. And so, but except for the Light It Up program, that is, you know, if you sign up, we'll give you a light, because that affects the whole neighborhood, not just your home. It increases, so we feel programmatically like it's benefiting the entire community, and since we primarily serve low-income communities, we want to give it to everybody, so we don't verify income for that one. We have a community center program where we help nonprofit facilities. So the same what I was talking about with homes and maintenance, lots of different things can go into the founding of a nonprofit and them getting their space. And there's a lot of nonprofits that are serving youth, serving seniors, serving people with these services that they need, and they get a space, and now they've been operating for 50 years, but they have no budget to keep their space nice. So we have a program where we go in and we do a lot of renovations, change out light fixtures, update the painting. We'll provide new computers for their computer lab. You know, we'll do what we can. We do a lot of landscaping and building of flower beds and stuff so that the youth can plant and garden and things like that. And that's our community center program. That we do a lot in Manhattan. That's the one that we do most in Manhattan, because there's no hurricane damaged single family homes in New York City. So if you want to work in New York City, we do the community centers. And then we have what my staff member made fun of me because I termed it our signature neighborhood revitalization program, which is basically we take all of these things that I just mentioned and we do them in one neighborhood in a short period of time. Like we'll demo and repair, you know, like 10 homes. That takes some months. But we'll plan the light installations, and we'll get a couple community centers, and then we'll have one big day where we get a few hundred volunteers to come out on that same day, and we try to make a huge impact across the neighborhood. So we'll pick. Like we actually had one yesterday in Red Hook, where we did 5 or 6 projects across the neighborhood with 125 volunteers, and we did projects in each of those areas. So that's my spiel. Are there any questions?
One thing I was interested to hear about was, on top of the monetary donations, you create other market value because you have people that are skilled laborers that dedicate their time too, and that time is not monetary, but it is valuable.
It's
So like on
hugely.
top of people like us swinging hammers, you also have people that know how to do that better. And like they're adding value in ways that we can't, and even though it's not monetary, it's still a tremendous part of what you guys
Maybe
provide.
not better, they're faster. Like, so, there's a, a spectrum that the volunteers come in at. And some, it takes them a long time to put flooring down, and others, it happens very quickly. And some, we love training new people, but you're right. If we don't have to train them because they're already skilled and trained in how to do it, it is faster and worth more money. And that definitely goes into the valuation of what we're doing. So basically, we take, every project, of course, is different, and every fiscal year is different for us. So like, we could recalculate the number a million times and it shifts. But typically, we turn every dollar into approximately $3. Nationally, it's $1 to $4, but New York City and Hurricane Sandy, it's a little bit tougher here. Like, I hate to say it, but we have a hard time getting skilled tradespeople to donate their time, a harder time than rural areas. Like, people just here, like, skilled tradespeople, they can't make, it's just harder in New York City. So they're not donating their time as much in other locations. They still do it, but it's hard in New York City because things cost more. Our Lowe's bill is very high. But then also Hurricane Sandy, we're not doing, like, the other of our affiliates that can turn $1 into more, the repairs that they're doing are more minor. Like, because these were Hurricane Sandy damaged homes, like, we're doing huge projects. Like complete demoing of the bathroom, the bedroom, the kitchen, all new appliances, all new countertop, and that gets very expensive. But I'm still proud of $1 to $3. Still good, right? I'll take it.
So when you discover somebody's AMI is below that threshold and that their home is in disrepair, when you start a project, are you moving them to a safer location during that time? Or
Only if it's necessary.
Okay.
We do relocate. We'll put somebody up in a hotel. We'll get a pod and move all their stuff out of their home. Like I mentioned, dealing with stuff, or as my director of construction calls it, content manipulation. But hoarding is a huge problem. And we come across that a lot, and there's the human aspect of the work that we do, and it's very difficult, but we have to help people even get through. Like, we want to help you, but we can't until we deal with the stuff that's here, because we need to get to the wall behind all of this stuff. So we will relocate people and pets and get a pod and move stuff. We try not to, and we actually don't have to that much, because we can do one room at a time. We can do our project planning in a way that they can stay in their home.
Okay.
And that's the more typical. It's only when it's very severe, when there's really hazardous conditions in the home, like mold, and we're going to be doing some serious stuff that's like, we really need to move them.
Are you getting local help when you're in Staten Island? Are you getting people from Staten Island when you're in Red Hook? Or are they traveling?
People travel within the city. There are other nonprofits that are disaster recovery that came here after Hurricane Sandy. One difference is we were here and we're going to stay here. But there's other rebuild organizations that they sort of go and do disaster response. A lot of their volunteers are coming on missions from other places. One of the things that sets us apart is that all of our volunteers are local, so we don't have to set them up in housing. But that doesn't mean they're necessarily from the neighborhood. A lot of times they are, but it's sort of random. Like yesterday's event we did with the corporation, we did it with Forest City Ratner Companies. So they shut down their offices and came out and volunteered with us for a day. And they live, it's the employees. A lot of them live in Brooklyn, but a lot don't.